The super empath is the narcissist's worst nightmare. That is the title of today's episode. Empaths are uniquely positioned to confront and destroy narcissists. What is more, empaths and narcissists have a surprising attraction for one another. When a narcissist and a super empath, and when I say a super empath, I mean someone who can physically feel the feelings of others. When a super empath and a narcissist get together, the results can be devastating, particularly for the narcissist. Now, in this video, I'm going to give you ways that a super empath can use their extraordinary sensitivity to other people's feelings to destroy a narcissist. I'm going to give you reasons why the super empath is the narcissist's worst nightmare. Now, the super empath will destroy the narcissist by crushing the narcissist's sense of entitlement. The super empath will undermine the narcissist's passive aggression. The super empath will break the narcissist's ego. The super empath, they dominate the narcissist. The super empath, they deflect the narcissist's projection. The super empath insists on accountability. The super empath, they identify the narcissist's insecurities. The super empath, they can change a narcissist's mindset. The super empath, they mirror the narcissist's behavior. Super empaths are people who are extremely sensitive to other people's feelings. While about 30% of people are considered to be empaths, researchers in the psychology department at the University of London found that only approximately 1 to 2% of the population are considered to be super empaths. Now, these highly sensitive people, the super empaths, can spot the pain of a narcissist. The super empath cannot only spot the pain of the narcissist, but they can also use that ability to destroy the narcissist. Now, let's relook at this again. What is a super empath? To be an empath, first of all, means that you have the ability to sense other people's feelings. For example, you can feel it when someone is anxious, or when someone is sad, or when someone is happy, or when someone is at peace. A super empath, however, is someone who can not only sense other people's emotions. A super empath actually feels those emotions in a very real sense. Super empaths experience what is known as mirror touch synesthesia, and it is very rare. Only about 1% or almost 2% of the population has this ability. So if you have mirror touch synesthesia, if you see someone touching another person's face, you will actually feel as if your own face is being touched. Then that's a super empath. This means that the super empath cannot only sense the emotions of other people, they can actually feel those sensations in their own body. That makes the super empath extremely sensitive to the emotions of other people. For that reason alone, the super empath can feel the inner turmoil, shame, and self-loathing that the narcissist masks with their outward arrogance. This is part of what attracts empaths in general to narcissists. They see the pain the narcissist is in, and they want to help. Super empaths are the same, but they are also highly intelligent people who understand their own worth. Super empaths have high self-esteem, and they understand their worth. That's what makes them extremely dangerous to the narcissist. The super empath, they understand what's really going on with the narcissist. And the super empath won't put up with the narcissist's manipulative antics. And that's why we're saying that the super empath is the narcissist's worst nightmare. How will a super empath destroy the narcissist? How can the super empath destroy the narcissist? Number one, the super empath will crush the narcissist's sense of entitlement. One of the hallmarks of narcissistic personality disorder is a sense of entitlement. The narcissist infuses the false image they've created of themselves with the belief that they deserve everything that is good in life. They also don't think they should have to work for those good things. The super empath has the ability to see through that entitlement and tell the narcissist like it is. They won't hesitate to let the narcissist know that they are not entitled to anything and that they should be grateful for what they do have in life. The willingness of the super empath to confront the narcissist is a big part of why they are able to crush their sense of entitlement. When confronted, the narcissist fears their true self will be exposed. They don't want to risk that, and they will turn to other tactics or change their behavior with the super empath. While the super empath is compassionate towards the narcissist's pain, they also understand that the only way out for the narcissist is to confront the truth. That's why they're often willing to call out the narcissist for their bad behavior. Moreover, it's exactly their empathy that attracts the narcissist, because they believe the super empath will want to focus on the narcissist's needs. In fact, they are trying to do just that by helping them overcome their narcissism. They see the pain behind the bravado, and they understand what will truly help the narcissist in the long run. The number two way a super empath is the narcissist's worst nightmare, and that they can destroy the narcissist, is by undermining the narcissist's passive aggression. Narcissists often use passive aggression techniques to devalue and manipulate the people around them. Super empaths are able to pick up on what they are doing and see through the attempts of the narcissist to control them. When they see the passive aggression behind the behavior of the narcissist, they are able to respond in a calm manner without giving the narcissist what they truly want. The emotional response that makes the narcissist feel powerful. Since super empaths are in touch with their emotions, they are able to control them and respond in exactly the opposite manner the narcissist was hoping for. The super empath can then turn the tables on the narcissist and confront them with their behavior. While the narcissist might respond with their characteristic rage, the super empath is able to remain calm and simply ask the narcissist what's behind their behavior. That's the last thing the narcissist wants to discuss, and this tactic usually makes them back down. It is an effective tactic that stops the narcissist in their tracks, and it can effectively destroy them if it exposes their inner shame and self-loathing. It is not that the super empath is being unsympathetic. Rather, they understand that it is the only way for the narcissist to truly heal. Another way that a super empath can destroy a narcissist is when they break the narcissist's ego. A super empath is a narcissist's worst nightmare in that they can break the narcissist's ego. Super empaths are extremely intelligent people who are also in touch with their emotions. They see through the narcissist's facade and they can truly feel their pain. That means they're also able to see what will hurt the narcissist the most. For that reason, when they need to call out the narcissist for their bad behavior, they can do so in a very forthright and effective way. Moreover, should the narcissist take to devaluing the super empath, they are quite able to defend themselves. They can use the narcissist tactics of devaluation to break the narcissist's ego and bring them to their knees. The narcissist who has convinced themselves that they are the superior one in the relationship often won't even see it coming. It is the superpower of the super empath to be able to so easily read people and understand their strengths and their weaknesses. While they are compassionate people who seek to help others heal, they can also protect themselves in devastatingly effective ways. The super empath's most effective tool is to turn off their emotions. They become icy cold and they can then attack the narcissist's vulnerable ego. They are quite capable of going for the jugular when they put their mind to it. And for the narcissist, It can destroy them. The other reason why a super empath is a narcissist's worst nightmare is because they dominate the narcissist. They can dominate the narcissist. Narcissists are used to being able to dominate in their relationships. And they're very effective at doing so. They're easily able to detect a person's frailties and use them to manipulate and control their victim. Unfortunately, for their narcissist, they have met their match in the super empath. Super empaths are people who can not only detect your fears, they can actually feel them in their own bodies. They can easily spot what makes someone afraid. And they can see right through a narcissist very quickly. So when they understand the situation and know they are dealing with a narcissist, they are easily able to develop a strategy to dominate the narcissist by keeping them on edge. The super empath's ability to sense the narcissist's inner feelings is the worst fear for a narcissist. It means the super empath can see through to the narcissist's true self. And that makes them dangerous because they can expose that to the world. The narcissist will want to avoid that at all costs. And in fact, the narcissist will often end the relationship to protect themselves. If they don't, the constant fear of being exposed can destroy the narcissist. In the end, it makes them face their own truth, which can result in a mental breakdown. Another way a super empath can destroy a narcissist is by deflecting the narcissist's projection. This is another favorite tactic of the narcissist, that is projecting their own fears and flaws onto other people. It is a way of diverting attention from their true feelings. The super empath, however, is easily able to discern what is happening. Super empaths have a good understanding of their own emotions and abilities. They are grounded in self-awareness and they have a solid self-esteem. That's why this tactic simply doesn't work on them. So when they see that's what the narcissist is doing, they deflect those attempts and won't respond in the way the narcissist expects. They will once again call out their behavior for what it is, thus exposing the narcissist's weakness and inner turmoil. Their resistance to these kinds of tactics is precisely what makes a super empath so dangerous to the narcissist. In people who are not as well grounded in their own self-awareness and sense of self-value, the narcissist can use this tactic to confuse them. That allows them to then manipulate the person. But with the super empath, it simply doesn't work. Even worse, the super empath then turns the tables by probing the reasons for the narcissist's behavior. Once again, the narcissist must fear exposure, and continue interaction with the super empath can have devastating effects for their fragile self-esteem. The super empath is the narcissist's worst nightmare because they insist on accountability. Super empaths are not only extremely perceptive people, they are also people with a lot of integrity. Their self-awareness makes them fully aware of their own strengths and weaknesses, and they are not afraid to confront their own flaws. Because they are so honest about their own character, they insist on accountability from the people around them. The narcissist, on the other hand, will jump through all kinds of hoops to prevent anyone from blaming them or seeing their flaws. The problem for the narcissist is that the super empath is not afraid to confront them and insist that they need to be accountable for their actions. This is just devastating for the narcissist's ego. It is something they can't abide. And aside from the rageful response it provokes, the narcissist will often end a relationship with the empath because of this kind of honesty. The narcissist has been lying to everyone, including themselves, for their whole lives. And when someone insists they be accountable for their behaviors, they would rather run away. A super empath is the narcissist's worst nightmare because they identify the narcissist's insecurities. Aside from seeing the narcissist's behavior for what it is, the super empath is also able to see the pain and insecurity the narcissist lives with. They literally feel their pain and they want to help. The problem for the narcissist is that the super empath knows the only way to really help is to confront those insecurities head on, as well as the root causes behind those feelings. Most of the time, narcissists are unable to do this since it means exposing what they believe is a worthless true self. Narcissism is created in childhood when the development of a healthy sense of self is disrupted. This usually happens because they are told by abusive parents that they are worthless. Even well-meaning parents can cause this to happen if they shelter their child too much and never let them attempt anything. In either case, the child comes to believe that they are not capable of doing things for themselves. That is, they come to believe that their true self is hopelessly flawed. The shame and self-loathing that creates in the child causes them to bury that flawed true self and constructs a false image. Sadly, they then try to infuse that false image with all the character traits they believe themselves to lack. In their own childlike way, they are trying to prop themselves up to make themselves feel worthwhile. They infuse their false image with the belief they are superior, omniscient, and omnipotent. The superempath sees right through this to their true insecurities and fears. That is truly terrifying to the narcissist and can easily destroy them. A superempath is the narcissist's worst nightmare. A superempath can destroy the narcissist in that they can change a narcissist's mindset. While it is not likely if the narcissist stays in a relationship with a superempath, the empath can ultimately change the narcissist's mindset and reduce their narcissistic tendencies. They can effectively destroy the narcissism without destroying the narcissist. They see what's at the heart of the narcissist's low self-esteem and they want to help. They also have the ability to see what will help. And because they are extraordinarily empathetic, they are well positioned to help a narcissist heal. They can use their empathy to give the narcissist the compassion and kindness they need to overcome the childhood trauma that created their personality disorder. Still, for this to happen, the narcissist has to be willing to change. Let me repeat that again. For this to happen, the narcissist has to be willing to change. That's a problem because most narcissists can never admit that they are flawed in any way. Most narcissists believe they are perfect. They believe their ways are perfect. So it simply makes them feel too vulnerable and too exposed to admit that they have some flaws in them. But the superempath has a unique ability to draw out the narcissist's fears. And if the narcissist chooses to heal, then they can help them to confront and overcome them. The superempath can help that narcissist to heal through confronting those fears they have and to be able to overcome those fears that the narcissist has. Now, while this is a possibility, it isn't the responsibility of the superempath. And it is not something other people should expect them to do. It's also not a burden they should place on themselves. Only a narcissist can choose to change themselves. And that's true of anyone. But if the narcissist does choose to change, if the narcissist chooses to change, then a superempath can help the narcissist to do so. And that's also why many superempaths become effective psychotherapists. If you check around, you'll find out most of the psychotherapists are superempaths. Now, the final way that a superempath is the narcissist's worst nightmare and that they can destroy the narcissist is because they mirror the narcissist's behavior. Another way that the superempath can destroy the narcissist, again, I'm repeating this, is by mirroring the narcissist's toxic behavior back at them. Once a superempath realizes they're dealing with a narcissist, they can easily tap into the narcissist's feelings of insecurity. They can then understand why the narcissist acts the way they do. And they can give the narcissist a taste of their own medicine. It is an effective technique against a narcissist because much of what the narcissist dishes out comes from their projection of their own traits. The superempath doesn't have those insecurities, but they can readily see why they provoke the narcissist's toxic behavior. The empath can then use that understanding to mirror the behavior back to the narcissist. This tactic is very successful at breaking down the narcissist's attempts to manipulate and control the superempath. It also forces them to see the effect their own behavior has on the people around them. When the narcissist is forced to confront their own behavior, they often respond with rage, but later they may experience a narcissistic collapse. This happens when they are forced to confront their own weaknesses and their true self. While it can be emotionally devastating, it is also the doorway to healing. If the narcissist can stick it out, the super empath can help them to see that their true self was never worthless to begin with. That can be the start of their healing journey. It is possible but still unlikely. Most narcissists retreat from having to experience a narcissistic collapse. They would rather break off the relationship than face the truth about their own behavior and the causes behind it. If they do work with the super empath, the narcissist can experience a complete change of their mindset. They can then go on to have a full, healthy life. So, can a narcissist hurt a super empath? Can a narcissist hurt a super empath? That's a question I'm asking you. Super empaths often don't know they're super empaths. They've been experiencing and integrating the feelings of others their entire lives. So if a super empath is at a stage in their life where they have not self-actualized and they don't fully understand their abilities, then it can make them vulnerable to the narcissist. Because super empaths are highly sensitive people, they can easily be overwhelmed by the emotions and sensations they receive from the people around them. If they don't know how to take care of themselves, they can become codependent around a narcissist. Codependents are people who often experience their own childhood trauma, and that causes them to subsume their needs in favor of the needs of others. For empaths, they're acutely aware of the needs of others, and it is easy for them to lose themselves as they seek to help someone. Super empaths can easily become overwhelmed by the extremely needy narcissist. And if they don't have strong boundaries, they can fall into codependency. They will ignore their own needs to try and meet every need of the narcissist. The problem with that is that the narcissist's needs are unending. They'll never end. No one can ever do enough to satisfy the narcissist. Until the narcissist works on treating the underlying causes of their own illness, they will never feel satisfied. It is also true that narcissists have an uncanny ability to pick up on the weaknesses of the people around them. A super empath who is not fully aware of their abilities can easily fall prey to the manipulation tactics narcissists use to control people. While it is true that the super empath can destroy the narcissist, it is also unfortunately true that a narcissist can destroy a super empath. That's why they need strong boundaries and good self-care to keep that from happening. So, in conclusion, super empaths are self-actualized, compassionate people who often seek to help others heal their emotional trauma. Super empaths are able to see through the narcissist's facade quite easily and turn it against them in a devastatingly effective way. It allows them to turn the tables on the narcissist and force them to face their own bad behavior and the reasons behind it. So, the abilities of the super empath can be a healing tool for the narcissist, or they can destroy the narcissist. But the empath must also protect themselves with strong boundaries and regular self-care practices. The super empath must understand their own emotional frailties. Just like anyone else, they have emotional triggers that the narcissist can use to manipulate and control them. So recognizing and healing those triggers is an important step for anyone, but particularly for the super empath.